So, mate, I hear you might be leaving us for some little small-time project. What is it? Pretty places or nice things or beautiful destinations. That's it. Some people might have heard of this before. Beautiful destinations. I hear you might be leaving us for those guys.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, pretty cool news I got last week. I've been selected as out of over 65,000 entries, which has been shortlisted down to 150, of which I am one of, for what's been advertised as the coolest job in the world, working with the team of Beautiful Destinations, which an amazing producer of travel content and online content. And it was a pretty good little ego boost, I suppose, being part of that 150.
Mate, I have a feeling it might be the top 15,000 by all the people that I've seen in the list. So pretty good list of people here locally in Australia that have made the list.
You sound like you're wishing you had have entered. You reckon you would have had a chance if you entered and got into that top 150?
Mate, I value my relationship far too much. I think Susan would have disowned me if I would have entered, and she would have even had an inkling that I could be on the road as much as those guys are. So no, look, I'm happy that I didn't. I'm kind of interesting to see the pick of the bunch here and all the guys that are in very, very long-term solid relationships and so forth. So I'm pretty sure I'd be guessing that somebody who's probably single and a little bit more free will eventually get this job. That might be the way they're looking.
Really? My wife was really excited. She's like, yeah, you get to go travel around the world and go see amazing sites, and she's just happy to travel, follow me around, do whatever. So no, mate, she's pretty excited.
That's not what it is. She's happy to get rid of you, is what it is. She's like, yes, finally, he's gone from the house a little bit more. I'm pretty sure that's what it would be. Maria's sitting there already with her bottle of champagne going, all right, yes.
We love traveling, so yeah, she'd be happy to just get away and travel heaps and see the world a bit more than we already have.
I think the point is that it'll just be you, mate, not you and your partner traveling. But that's just my idea of the way this is going to work. But look, somebody actually said to me the other day that Susan should have entered, and I was thinking to myself, yeah, they'd probably notice if I was there following her around, still taking her photos for her. So
yeah, that's true. But yeah, I'm pretty sure Project RAWcast will still be going ahead. We might just have to do some more on the road recording.
But so when's your interview? The phone interview?
I won't announce when it actually is because definitely not telling you. I don't want you trying to sabotage my chances, so you still get to keep me here for Project RAWcast and everything.
Mate, when they find out that I'm doing all the editing of your images for you, they're already going to know. Like it's
yeah, of course, yeah. But I'll have a phone interview, and if I'm successful at that point, the next stage would be actually going over to meet the team, which would be even more exciting as well. And so looking forward to that. But I worked it out. I have just based on the numbers of 150 people, I have a 0.6% chance of being the one from that 150. So it's a small chance. I mean, I'm quietly hopeful and confident. I mean, I know I can do the job, but I mean, yeah, there is 150 or 149 other people. But yeah, who knows? I may get it. But if a doctor told me I had a 0.6% chance of surviving a deadly disease, I wouldn't be too hopeful, I suppose. But yeah, we'll see how it goes, and I'll let you know. Whenever I find out, I suppose.
Nice. Well, congratulations on that. It's a pretty big news, and congratulations to all the other people, some very close friends who also did enter and got in. I'm a little bit surprised some of the guys that did enter and didn't get in within the Australian photography community, but we'll move on from that. I think as I say, congratulations to you and to everybody else for that. It's a pretty big thing that you can add to your resume to be selected in the top 150 for the world's coolest job. So we got a few other big announcements in this episode. So let's spread them out across the episode. Let's not give all the good news at once. Yep. But look, firstly, we'll start off again thanking Nisi Filters, nisifilters.com.au for the support of Project RAWcast. As always, they're offering our listeners 5% off any purchases at nisifilters.com.au by using the coupon code PROJECTRAWcast, all one word, during the checkout process. So just look for the coupon code field on the checkout during the checkout process and plug that in. It'll calculate your little 5% off, and you can use that for any purchases of any products for any amount. So as little as you like to as big as you like. Make the most of that, and a massive thank you to Nisi for that, which then leads us on to our first big announcement for this episode.
Yeah, so in conjunction with Nisi, we'll be running a Insta Meet in Melbourne on the 4th of March. So that's Saturday, the 4th of March at 5 p.m. I think we said would. Yep,
that's
5 p.m.
That's right. Yep. So we'll be taking our comedy act on the road. So somewhere around South Bank, we'll announce the details before then. But we'll be hosting our first Insta Meet. So we'd like to bring our community of listeners together to kind of have a bit of a nice meet and greet and a little bit of a shooting session around South Bank. We're not sure whether it's going to be a photo walk yet or whether we're going to kind of stick to an area. It depends on how many people register and how easy that is to manage for us. But yeah, so the 4th of March, so Saturday, the 4th of March at 5 p.m. somewhere around South Bank, we'll put up a registration form, which will be available at projectrawcast.com/InstaMeet for people to register. We'd like to get an idea of numbers so that we can kind of make some more plans around the day as well. We'll have a representative from Nisi Filters there on the day with us, so they'll be co-hosting the event. They'll be bringing along a whole heap of filters for people to try out. There'll be special offers and a prize on the day for the best photo that we choose. So yeah, really looking forward to that one. The only bad thing is, mate, I've got to come over to Melbourne and see you.
Yes. I guess I'll get the stable ready and put down some hay for you to sleep on. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. Heading down to South Bank, I shoot there all the time, and it's an amazing location. So many great views of the city and the Yarra River there. So hopefully we'll get a lot of people to come down and join us and meet us if you haven't met us, and have a chat about photography, filters, and just have a good time, meet some other people in the photography community.
For sure, yeah. I'm just looking to meet some people face to face and kind of, put some faces to the names of people that we talk to all the time. Melbourne's got such a great community of Instagrammers as well, and whenever I come over there, I spend quite a bit of time meeting different people. So this is going to be quite a nice event for us. And as I say, I mean, we're very grateful that Nisi Filters will be coming down from Sydney to join us in Melbourne for the day, and also becoming part of our community as well. So yeah, looking forward to that one, and hopefully we get a good turnout.
I guess we've been to a few Insta Meets in our time, both ones that you've definitely been a part of, you've hosted, and just other ones that have been based around either landscape photography or just photography in general. And what do you think about them in terms of improving your photography or just meeting people? Do you reckon they're a good idea just to be creative and get out there and be inspired to take images that you may not normally take?
Well, I think that the biggest thing here to think about is Insta Meet. So the meet part is probably the biggest thing with an Insta Meet. It's really bringing people together who have a common interest for photography as a whole, and we're also part of the Instagram community. I've taken part in quite a few Insta Meets over the years, both private, sponsored through Canon, but also some of our tourism ones here in Tassie. And look, there's always different purposes for them. The ones that we have here in Tassie kind of always end up being like a pseudo marketing campaign, which is in itself not a bad thing, I suppose. It's state government here who generally funds them needs to have a purpose for bringing the community together, and they're generally shaped around a marketing campaign of getting a lot of content on a particular hashtag before they launch said marketing campaign into the public. But we just recently had one just a few weeks ago here with Canon, which was an absolutely amazing event where we got together a whole heap of people just to really inspire their creativity. And again, there was no pressure on the day to really promote or to post content or to become part of a broader marketing campaign. It was just a great way to bring the community together. But we've also done private ones too, where we just kind of put the message out and get people together just to go and have a good time and shoot on on any given day, just a little short notice and do it. So it's a big, for me, InstaMeet is all about the community. It's just bringing people together who have a common interest around things. I prefer them that way rather than being a marketing campaign, and that's really what I'm hoping to achieve out of this one. And I know you are hoping to achieve out of the one that we host in Melbourne.
Yeah, and I also like, just from a purely photography point of view as well, like it's great to go out and meet people, but another benefit I find is because I don't normally just take images and post them straight away, I do like to go home and spend an hour or more on each image to actually make it as good as I can make it. And I do like going on InstaMeets to just get an idea of different locations as well for landscape photography. They're usually in places that I wouldn't normally think of, or sometimes they are places I've been before, but it's great to just go out and see locations you may not have been to, get an idea of different compositions you can do without the pressure of having to get great images on the day. It can kind of be a recon thing with a bunch of other people that you can chat to as well.
That's it. I just like seeing different people with different creative ideas coming together. We obviously focus on landscape photography, and that's what we like to do, and that's 99% of what we would post would be landscape photography. But there's, street photographers, food photographers, portrait photographers. Everybody just comes together for the common interest of photography as a whole, and I think that's a big thing about InstaMeets is really that community element around them that kind of just allows people with a very, very similar interest and who take part in a community, which Instagram really is, to come together and meet face to face and just do the same things that they all love doing together.
Yeah, and if you are interested in coming along on the 4th of March, it doesn't have to be landscape photography. You don't have to bring along a tripod. Come along, even if you're street photographer, portrait photographer, macro photographer. Come along for any reason, meet people, have a chat to us. If you are interested in getting some filters, upgrading, or just getting some extra NISI filters, you'll have the opportunity to try some out and get some there.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be just landscape stuff. Come along, have a good time, and we'll end up shooting for a couple of hours up until sunset. And yeah, who knows where the night will lead us.
Well, that's it. Look, we'll be offering one-on-one training, both you and I personally, to anybody who comes along. Plus, also the guys from NISI Filters will also be offering their advice and assistance around the best filters for different styles of photography as well. So there'll be special offers on the day as well, special promotions, and also we'll be giving away a prize, as I said, for the best image for the day, which we'll decide probably a week after, or announce a week after the actual InstaMeet itself. So look, really, really looking forward to this, and really hoping to see a good turnout of all of our listeners coming along and meeting each other. So yeah.
So what's another way people can actually meet us? Because we've got another announcement that we made yesterday as far as recording, and which at the time of recording is already halfway sold. We've got a workshop in Phillip Island coming up in May.
Yeah, definitely. Look, we've had this in the back of our mind now for quite a few months of how to kind of take Project RAWcast on the road, I suppose. So yes, our very first workshop is going to be hosted on Phillip Island on the 4th of May. So we've got a few spots left for that. Look, they will sell out quickly. I promise you. It's 3 months away from now, but we kind of announced it early so that everybody can kind of plan and at least plan travel to Melbourne if they need to get there. So again, this will be 3 nights, 4 days. This is the very first one. We'll have some more announcements on some workshops very, very soon, which are already very much underway for planning. But yeah, look, we're just hoping to really pass on our knowledge and meet some people and come and have some people laugh at us,
And yeah, that's a key thing. Laugh at us, not with us. Yeah,
that's it. So again, look, the workshops will be focused really on sunset, sunrise, astrophotography, the use of filters, landscape type stuff. As we've kind of mentioned in the announcement yesterday, a reasonable level of fitness, because there will be a little bit of walking, and also prior to dark, after dark, plus for astro, but also be focusing on editing sessions as well. So sitting down and giving some really one-on-one plus group sessions on our knowledge of Lightroom and Photoshop. So yeah, look, I'm really looking forward to these, and we've, as I say, Phillip Island's our first one. We'll announce some more very, very soon.
One thing I like about these workshops as well is that it gives you a chance to get daytime shots as well and learn how to really maximize getting decent photos during the day, because most of the time we'll head out sunrise, sunset to get those nice colors, but it can be a challenge to really find something that works in the middle of the day when the light might be quite harsh, and really going through those conditions and working out what you can do when you don't have the optimal conditions that you're after.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's obviously, it's a big challenge for me doing things like shooting daytime long exposures. So anybody who's kind of interested in those sort of things as well will definitely be working with across these workshops. Now, a big thing that we will be offering during this and any other workshops also is some social media training. So a lot of people consume their imagery and stories through social media. So we're really looking to pass on our advice on the different platforms that we generally work with, optimizing your images, controlling copyright protections and those things around those particular platforms, but also maximizing your exposure and creating long-term programs for increasing your engagement and growth over time as well. So obviously, as we say, social media is such a big part of photography these days. So I think we've created a really good value package around both, which is really the techniques of a very broad range of photography styles, plus also the social media training, which we'll be helping and assisting anybody with during the workshops. So
head over to projectrawcast.com/workshops if you want to come along and join us.
Yes, definitely. Mate, we've got, as I said at the beginning, we got quite a few big announcements during this episode. So this one is really, really cool. And a brand that we worked with over the first 10 episodes has come on board as a long-term sponsor of Project RAWcast.
Yeah, so fstoppers.com have joined us as a show sponsor, not just a couple of episodes and giving away some of their amazing tutorials. They've decided to give us and our listeners a 10% discount on any of Elia Liccardi's landscape photography post-processing tutorials. And these are just amazing tutorials. I've watched the Cityscapes one, and there's 15 hours of content, and it takes you from them actually getting to the location, setting up the camera, finding a spot, what settings they're using, everything from that to showing you the raw files, how they're putting them together, basic editing up until the completed image. So there's just so many different shots, locations, Italy, New Zealand, Singapore, Hong Kong, all over the place. So these are amazing tutorials. And if you ever wanted to improve your post-processing skills, head along to fstoppers.com, check out their tutorials and use the discount code RAWcast. So that's just RAWcast for 10% off any of the Elia Liccardi tutorials.
Yeah. Now, look, to capture my attention for 16 hours, you got to be pretty special, I reckon. The way my brain works, truly, like I like to take little bits of information and over long periods of time put it all together. But the Elia Liccardi tutorials are phenomenal. They really are so well made, and it's just awesome content just to see the way such a great photographer can explain his process, explain everything, explain his shooting, plus his editing techniques. It just incredible content. Those tutorials are amazing, and I promise you now, anybody who does purchase one of the Elia Liccardi tutorials or any of the Elia Liccardi tutorials is absolutely going to love them and walk away with some incredible information that's really going to help grow their photography. So massive thank you to fstoppers.com for their continued support. Fantastic website, fantastic brand, one of the biggest photography blogs in the world, and it just really awesome to be able to work with such a great brand.
So have you ever worked in time-lapse photography at all?
I personally haven't, no, but I love watching them. I've been seeing so many really, really cool time-lapse videos, I suppose, set a whole heap of still shots combined into a video lately, and one that caught both of our attention last week was the Seasons of Norway one with all the just amazing scenery in the shot over a long period of time and compiled into a really cool video. This particular one that we're talking about was shot in 8K, which in itself is
ridiculous.
It's pretty crazy. So imagine, not a lot of people haven't even caught up to 4K yet. So never mind doubling that again to 8K.
Although that's pretty much just a however megapixel camera, just using the actual big files, isn't it, to put them all together? So that's going to give you the 8K resolution rather than having them down at HD, which is effectively roughly a 2000 pixel image.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, like, the benefits of shooting in such high resolution to begin with is the croppability of that. But anyway, moving back to the time-lapse side, like, creating a time-lapse in itself is a technical skill. Let's start with the techniques of doing it. How do we do it?
Well, I think it does help to have that knowledge of photography to start with as well, and knowing what makes a good composition as well, and what makes a good well-exposed image. And then it's just a matter of seeing the scene itself and how anything moving in that scene will change over a certain amount of time, whether it's people walking, traffic moving, clouds moving, or a building being built, and being able to work out how long it's going to take for a particular event to take place. And that would pretty much set the length of time that you'll be shooting. And then you need to work out how many photos you're going to need to take in order to get a length of video that you're after. So there's a lot of calculations in there, and it can be a bit tricky to work out. And it would be something that would become easier over time and the more times you do it. But I think the basic kind of settings to start with is thinking about 24 frames per second, and then using that to work out how long you want your shot to be and how many images you need to take and at what interval to actually achieve 24 frames per second.
Yeah, look, I've quite often, when I've got my camera set up and shooting long exposures, I've actually had people ask me, are you shooting a time lapse? I think quite often they get mistaken. If you're not in the photography game, they probably just get mistaken, as one or the other. Long exposure is just opening your shutter for a short period of time. A time lapse is taking a whole series of images from the same composition, or even using equipment like rails and things to kind of slide your camera along over a period of time with a set of motors attached to it. But yeah, look, the two very distinctly different things, and some of the equipment that you need to shoot a time lapse, obviously an intervalometer or a remote and a good tripod, or, as we say, a motorized mechanism, the rails that you can kind of slide your cameras along over a period of time. Some of the techniques themselves, you really want to kind of set your camera into manual white balance, so that you've got a consistent white balance across the image. So changing light across a scene can really affect and impact on the way an image is exposed, or the white balance itself. But also using manual settings on your camera as well to control your shutter speed and get a consistent set of frames, I suppose, or consistent exposure time across the entire scene to kind of show that the way the light changes as well. I mean, you're going to get different exposures on dropping light or rising light and those sort of things. So, but that is actually part of the time lapse experience, isn't it? Really, that you're kind of showing that dropping and rising light potentially at sunrise or sunset, or across whatever. I mean, I've seen stuff with like rotting fruit where they've literally just got a camera set up, plugged into a wall, and showing a banana literally deteriorating over time, over a 3 or 4 day period, and just combining the images together in a time lapse. And so some really cool stuff out there to do it. One of those things, again, I'd love to really experiment and play with, and I've got multiple cameras, so I'm probably, again, one of those things I'm looking to do over the next few months now, of really putting some together and trying to experiment and play with and see what I can come up with. I
think some of the time lapses that I want to see would have to be computer generated, because it's just absolutely impossible to do in a human timescale. I mean, I think we talked about a camera that was going to be taking a photo for 1,000 years or something, but the time lapse I want to see is of geological scales of mountain ranges being formed. Like, I wanted to see a time lapse from a camera set up so you can see India crashing into southern Asia over millions of years, and just watch that time lapse as the Himalayas are kind of formed, and that'd be something to see. But in the meantime, just seeing things like, as you said, the rotting of fruit, or things that happen over a long period of time that you see gradual changes of, but never actually see the progression. So it's kind of shrinking down that progression into something that is visually understandable to us and to our eye. And it's, compressing time or stretching out time is just an amazing thing to play with. And being able to do that with time-lapse photography is something that seems really challenging and exciting as well.
Some of the ones that I really like are like the aurora, seeing the northern lights. Just seeing the actual shifting of the lights over a long period of time across an entire night, or however long they're kind of displaying for. They're pretty cool to see. That really cool natural phenomena, I suppose, is something that's quite interesting to see. And I think like time-lapse have got a very distinctive style about them. It's more than just a video sped up. It really is something that I think when you see them combined, you can tell quite quickly that it's a time lapse. It's a series of images rather than, holding the shutter open and creating a video over a period of time and then creating it.
Yeah, as we were talking about with the Seasons of Norway, there was one particular scene where the camera's going over a little waterfall, and you can see that the shots that have been taken, so the stills that have been taken are kind of long exposures. So it's not just water moving over. It's lots of long exposures put together as the camera moves to show the time lapse, which is amazing to think about, since the stills are dependent on the light. So if there's not a lot of light, you do need a longer exposure to get that nice shot in the first place. So if you combine a whole bunch of those, it has this really interesting effect for time lapse.
Yeah, definitely. And obviously they've got some equipment that kind of helps do this. So whether it's, I'm pretty sure they're motorised rails that they're kind of sliding along. I've seen, again, here in the Australian market, Matt Vanderpute, one of the leading time lapses here in Australia, and kind of travels the world and does this sort of stuff. He's got some really cool time lapses and it's really cool to kind of follow. So it's somebody to go and check out, and he's quite often offering tips and stuff on his YouTube channel and stuff. So, but yeah, look, this Norway one, there's another one that I've seen as well, which I believe was is it Singapore? Was it?
Yeah, I think it is. We've got a link to it. It's called the Lion City. Yeah.
Yeah. So it kind of shows a city over a 12-month period, I believe it is. Where they're kind of showing, I think it's 1 million shots or something that I saw.
Something ridiculous. It's the actual effort that's gone into planning this time lapse. Like buildings are being built and like brought down and built up again. But it's also just little scenes of cars moving through streets, and it's one of the best time lapses I've ever seen. And we'll put a link to it because you've got to just watch this. It's an amazing video. I think it goes for just under 5 minutes, and it's well worth checking out.
Yeah, definitely. Just the way the camera moves up and down the buildings and around, seemingly between buildings in the city. Look, obviously they've used a telephoto lens to achieve that kind of effect from a long distance. But yeah, it's just crazy to see. Imagine that. Yeah, as you say, the planning that would have gone into this. Just crazy, the camera positions and just kind of knowing your lighting and how to actually expose the images across such a long period of time, from night to day through to everything. So I think it's just another one of those really cool creative ways that you can use a camera outside of just taking standard images, and so many different ways that you can create a time lapse as well. As I say, simple little things like your nature through to creating stuff around buildings or rotting fruit, or just anything that kind of changes over time, whether it be in a natural element of a landscape or through to a man-made object, through to anything that's kind of sitting on your bench that moves around over a period of time.
So what else have we seen in the world of photography and newsworthy stuff?
Mate, heaps. Haven't stopped reading all week, but yeah, look. So overnight, the World Press Photo for 2017 was announced. Little bit of controversy, I believe, even within the judges themselves around the selection of this image. So it kind of shows the assassination of the Russian ambassador in Turkey in an art gallery. Again, I mean, if you were the photographer who captured this, I reckon you'd be a little bit worried, because there's a guy standing just a few meters away from you waving a gun around in the air threatening to kill people. So to be in the position that this particular photographer who took this image was in, to be able to capture this was pretty special.
Yeah, and it just looks like a scene from a movie, like a guy in a suit with holding a gun and another person lying on the ground. But it's real life captured, and the actual emotion in the gunman's face is incredible. And it's such a powerful image, and that's the thing. It's photography does show this side of humanity, and yeah, you can say they can say it's controversial whether you should display something like this because it does have like someone who's just been killed in the shot. But that's what photography is, and that's what photojournalism is going and finding these moments. And I definitely understand why it was selected for the World Press Photo of the Year. It's just an incredible image.
Look, yeah, I think like even the information that I've read on this, that it was there's 9 judges on the panel that kind of select these images, and it was a 5-4 split. So 5 people yes and 4 people no for this particular image winning. Again, my understanding, there's confidentiality agreements that these judges have signed around it, but some have spoken out just saying that their thought of promoting terrorism around the world was their reason why they voted this down, but at the same time still understood why it potentially has such a big impact within the journalistic community as well. Again, there's some more images here, kind of a standoff where there's a lady standing literally in front of riot police during the Baton Rouge Police Department in Louisiana in the USA on July the 9th, 2016. Now, this I've seen kind of analysis of this particular image in the past, and why it is so potentially iconic is really the composition and the way it shows a standoff all the way down to the cracks in the road, which themselves kind of show a division between the police department and the people who were protesting. It's almost like probably not as iconic, but in the analysis that I have seen of this image previously, they're kind of likening it almost to the Tiananmen Square, where there's a single person standing off authorities and really just kind of standing their ground and saying, you've got to come and move me. I'm not going to move for you. So yeah, like just if you see this image, and we'll put some links up to this in our episode notes, but you just have a look at even just the way the cracks on the road are displayed, where it kind of shows the division between the police and this particular lady who's about to be handcuffed and dragged away.
Even just the body language between the police officers who have sort of rushed in, and they're kind of leaning back a bit because they're slowing down after getting there, and then there's just a very calmly standing activist there, and it seems kind of odd that these police are rushing in to stop this person who's just standing there not doing anything. And as you said, the cracks in the road that lead right up to where her hands are, and also some others on the ground. It seems like an innocuous image until you look deeper into it, and just the little parts of it which do make it just a really powerful image.
Yeah, I think looking through the 60 images that are on display here, I think nearly 95% of them in some way display, again, human suffering or human misery. And that really is a side of photography, and particularly journalistic photography, that just captures people's attention for whatever reason it is. The most iconic shots in the world, as we've discussed in the past, kind of show that side of life, and to be there in those moments and to really be able to convey that particular emotion through your imagery is something I think that I notice a lot with journalistic photography, and this competition definitely, again, is a great example of exactly that. Is moments in time that are displaying probably the negative side of humanity.
It must be really hard to the judges to actually decide which human suffering is award worthy, or which one deserves to be the most, or given the most coverage, kind of thing. Like, as you said, they didn't want to promote terrorism. That was one of the reasons that they kind of voted against it. But there's a lot of things in here that you don't really want to promote in a way. Like, there's a lot of messages that it'd be good for the general population to actually know that is going on in the world. But yeah, it'd just be so difficult to go through all these shots and decide which story deserves to be told.
Definitely. So moving on from one photo competition to another, This one's
much more happier.
Much more happy, and this one definitely puts a smile on my face. It's the Skypixel drone shot of the year for 2016. So DJI's own photography competition. There are some crazy drone images and some really nice aerial shots in these. And the winning photo of the year for the 2016 Skypixel photo contest was called Fisherman Close the Net, which is basically kind of showing, I believe it's in China, a fisherman kind of doing his thing in the water, and these massive big nets that they kind of use to do whatever fishermen do. I'm assuming they trap fish somehow.
Yes, we're photographers, not fishermen, so we're not sure what's going on in the shot. But
no, definitely. Although we almost do become fishermen every time we take our cameras close to the water.
We don't want to become fishermen and have to fish out our gear, no.
No, King Neptune. But yeah, look, some of these, some really cool shots here again. So the first place in the beauty competition, or professional section of the beauty competition, kind of shows some sand dunes with some camels walking over it. It's nice footprints, really cool contrasted colors, beautiful shadow, everything in it. Through again, the second place in the same category shows a guy lying down on a walkway in a spillway where it's this really great composition of the water kind of being sucked down into a dam or into a spillway, and him just lying right in the middle of the shot. And it's really cool composition, and again, great use of lighting, great use of a drone to be really creative.
One of the things that I did like about the winning photo with the fisherman's nets is how the fisherman's nets all look yellow, but the shadows they create a cool blue color, which makes the water in between the shadows look a similar yellow to the nets. And it's this kind of weird contrast where it looks like the yellow of the nets is reflected on the water, but it's just the lack of blue from the shadows. And I love those lines that just come down through, in between those. That was just one little feature that I really liked about that image.
Yeah, I can't find any information about what drone that was shot with. Yes, I can. Sorry, it was shot with an Inspire 1 Pro. So yeah, great drone, great camera. But yes, definitely a really cool image. And there's just so many awesome drone shots there, and I'm pretty sure we're going to see a lot more creativity coming with drones over the coming years, and particularly over the next 12 months with the growth of drone usage.
Check them out, because there's a lot of different styles of composition there as well, just to get an idea of how you can use curves, lines, simple geometrics, and even there's one there just with a bridge going over clouds. And so really simple images to more in-depth abstract images. Lots of different composition styles that you can use to improve your own photography, whether it's drone photography or just still landscape photography, or anything really.
Yes. Now, another interesting one that we saw this week, and I think your scientific brain might need to explain this one because I've read it. It looks really cool, but I'm still trying to get my head around it. Some professor has turned his entire classroom into some sort of camera or projector, and you're the mad scientist, so you might be able to explain this one a bit better.
So, if you think of a classroom with some narrow windows up the top, what this teacher has done is blocked off a lot of those windows using foil and duct tape, and left a very small hole, probably about a hand's width wide, to let in some of the light. And some way to kind of think about this is almost like the classroom becomes the inside of a human eye, or even a camera, I suppose, where the image, the light that comes from what's outside, so in this case, you can see trees and sky and clouds and other buildings. The light that's reflected off that comes through that tiny hole and gets inverted, and you end up with an inverted image all around the walls of what's outside. So it's similar to how a camera works, probably more closely to how your eye works. So the light going through your pupil gets inverted and hits the retina and is turned upside down, and then your brain puts it up the right way so you can see. And so that's what this classroom has become. And it's called a camera Obscura. And these were made before photography, little tents as a way to study light. So tents out in outside were made with a little hole in it. And so when you go inside this tent and it's all dark except for this hole, you could actually see an inverted image of what was outside on the opposite wall. So it's a really interesting idea and something that, I don't know, it seems like it'd be fun to try and create, but you do really need to have a very small opening and no other light from anywhere else so you can actually see the image from outside.
Yep, I'm still trying to figure out. I'm actually standing on my head at the moment, I'm upside down, trying to actually look at what he's done. It's definitely something that's interesting. I'm not sure that I'd, want to try and go and replicate this, but it's definitely something really interesting, just to, obviously the way that light projects and kind of just understanding all that sort of stuff. And he, within the actual video and the images here, we actually see him using and demonstrating what are they? Large format cameras, large format wet plate, image making photography
with the bellows and everything. So the typical photo you'd see with taking an old-timey portrait.
Yeah, the Kodak Brownie. So he obviously understands a bit about photography and understands a bit about light in general. So just a really cool little thing. And again, we'll put up some links within our episode guide to go over and have a click on that. Now, something I understand a little bit more than the camera Obscura is the theory that Instagram may be trying to achieve a little bit too much complexity within the platform.
Oh, God, yep.
So back to our Facetagram, Facetagram comparisons.
Facetagram.
Recently, obviously, the stories were announced, and yes, obviously they've been very successful for people, and it's kind of great for keeping eyeballs on your brand again now. But just recently, things like the zoom or pinch to zoom, which just doesn't make sense to a lot of people, through to the new album features that they're going to be launching, and there's a bit of a video that's been released by Digital Rev, kind of saying how they believe that Instagram could be on a road to failure, like many other social platforms in the past, if they keep going down this path. What do you think about this?
Well, it seems that everything needs to be made new with every single update or every single release of a version, and they have to, once they've finished making one thing, it's like, all right, how can we revolutionize the next update to make it even better? And I mean, they should just be focusing on making it run faster, making it easy to use, and not trying to cram as many different options as they can into it. I mean, having, as you said, the pinch and zoom, it doesn't make sense really. The stories, like, they're great as well, but it gets to a point where it's one app that had a specialized function that's trying to be every other app. And it's now, as we say, it's Facetagram now, and it's taking too much from Instagram into too much from, I can't even work out what the difference is between Facebook and Instagram. It's taking too much from Facebook, putting it into Instagram, and you just end up with one app that's supposed to do everything. I mean, soon you'll end up being able to get an Uber from Instagram or something like that, or order food through Instagram.
That'd be awesome. Hey, you could be on site doing a story or a live broadcast while waiting for pizza to arrive. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, then it may get to a point where your Uber driver won't pick you up unless you've liked 5 of his photos or something.
The whole mashup of just a whole heap of apps now becoming Instagram is basically exactly what's happening. It's Facebook, it's Snapchat, it's Instagram of old. It's becoming so much more than what I think the general users actually really want it to be. And I think if they were to sit down with a user base of actual users on Instagram and people who use it as much as we do, and did maybe a survey of the features that we actually want, I think that rather than introducing new features, I think they should be taking away some of the changes they've made recently, things like the algorithmic function. We don't like it. Mate, you and I engage with each other all the time, and I'm telling you now, over the weekend, it took me like 8 hours to see an image of yours, unless I'm actually looking for your account. I wouldn't have even, it just didn't pop up in my feed for ages. I've got a really good mate here in Hobart who we comment on every single post of each other's. We engage with each other more than anybody else that I've ever engaged with. I don't even see his images pop up anymore. I've had to turn on post notifications to see it. So in terms of surfacing content that we actually really want, the algorithm has gone completely against that. I want to see the content from people I regularly engage with, not surfacing content that Instagram thinks I might like, because I just scroll through my feed now these days and I don't even bother liking the images just simply because it's not what I wanted to see. I'm looking for the people who I want to engage with. So that in itself, I think, is something that maybe Instagram, if they're listening to us, give us a call. I'll happily tell you what you're doing wrong. Secondly, this pinch to zoom function. I do not see the point in such low-res images that are on Instagram these days. The images are 1,080 pixels wide.
Yeah, you're not zooming in and getting a lot of detail. You're just making the pixels bigger. It doesn't.
When I zoom in, all I see now is the sharpening around it and the deterioration of the quality of the images that's being applied on a low-res image. Yeah. What's the point? If they want to do something useful, why not make landscape formatted images be able to rotate? If I rotate my screen, I want to see the full size landscape image. I want to see the image in better detail. I don't want to see the image that's tiny that some dude's gone to so much effort to go and create, and then you skip over it because it takes up less than a quarter of your screen because of the way it's formatted. I'd like to be able to rotate that landscape image on its side and see it in full quality. That's a feature we want.
And that's not completely unreasonable, because I think, like, even with the comments, if you go to the comment section, you can rotate it and see the comment section in landscape, but you can't see the photo in landscape. So they've already got the function there in Instagram to have it so it rotates with the screen rotation, but not for the photo. So as long as the photo is in the shot, you can't rotate it, but the comments, you can.
My screen doesn't rotate at all. Give me a look. Just give me a second. I'm just going to check this. I'm going to load up Instagram. Click you.
So if you go to comments and rotate your screen, mine, well, at least mine does. I know you're using the dodgy Apple, it might not, but does yours?
Well, no, it doesn't.
Huh?
So that is a feature that I want. I don't want to have to pinch and zoom an image that I can already see in the exact resolution it is. No, nobody's going to use that feature. I don't want to see multiple pictures in a post. It's one picture. Tell a story about that picture. And if somebody wants to post multiple images, let them post multiple images. I don't want to see an album. If I do that, I'll go to Facebook. And that's why I don't use Facebook, because it's crap. Instagram is the cool platform, and they're doing far too much with it. Just stick to what you do well. Display images, let people tell a great story, and let me engage with the people in a chronological order. That's what we want.
Yes. When do we want it? Now.
Now. That's my rant for this episode. I was hoping to not have a rant this episode, but I feel passionately about this. This is Instagram. Don't change this on me. Don't mess it up. Don't display something one night and then the next morning I wake up and it's displayed differently. I've got 3 or 4 accounts that I've got that I log in, or the hubs, that we operate. And from account to account, the user interface is different. I don't want that. Just let me see Instagram in one way. Oh, it just doesn't make sense to me.
I think have we complained about the badges for suggested following? Like at the top of your page, and it's got like a little number, like 1 or 2, and like you can't turn that notification off. Like it doesn't come up as a notification, but your eyes are naturally drawn to badges that come up like, oh, I've got a notification. It's like, oh, wait, no, it's just telling me there's 2 people that I might be interested in following.
Yeah, and again, most of that info comes from Facebook.
Yeah,
it's because you've linked your account to Facebook, and it's pulling in all the information from your friends and people that you've engaged with. So it's combining it into the whole social graph and going, hey, why don't you just take all of this information from Facebook and dump it into Instagram as well? I don't want to connect with the same people as I do on Facebook on Instagram. They're 2 different things.
Yeah.
Mate, just give me Instagram in a chronological order with some nice pictures. I want to be able to rotate landscape images. That's it.
Yeah. So Instagram, no. Stop it. No. It's a bad Instagram.
Just do what you do well and do what you've done well for a long time, and you'll stick. Because I'm telling you, like, somebody's going to come along very soon and create Instagram the way it should be, and it's going to become popular. They'll probably buy it and then just roll the features in or shut it down or something, no doubt. But look, yeah, it's becoming too complicated. What's that Chinese Alibaba? Have you seen that app?
No,
Mate,
is that the?
You can transfer money to people. You can shop for stuff. You can. It's almost like a whole social network built on this shopping platform. That's just your entire life built within this app. It's crazy. And obviously, mate, they make a lot of money doing what they're doing. But yeah, it's just so complicated and complex that it's like, well, hang on, why do I need all of this in one app? And Instagram is not that. It shouldn't be anyway.
Speaking of Instagram, though, Project RAWcast hashtag.
Yes.
We've still got entries going for this month in our George's Cameras giveaway. So we're talking about negative sides of Instagram to the positive sides of Instagram. Being able to share content and have people see it and enjoy it, and even win a voucher from George's Cameras to the value of $50.
Absolutely. George's Camera, sponsor of Project RAWcast, offering $50 gift voucher as always to our listeners for the best image that we select each month on our Project RAWcast hashtag. So keep those images rolling in. We had a very, very happy listener last episode who's making very good use of his vouchers. Voucher. Within the George's Camera store. So keep those images rolling in. We're looking for just the images that make us smile, a little bit more creative. It doesn't have to be a landscape image. It can be whatever. Just clearly hashtag us hashtag Project RAWcast, and also mention us within the caption, and to have your entry valid each month. So yeah, we've had some really, really cool images and some great photographers actually submitting their images on our hashtag as well.
Yeah, so thank you very much to George's Camera for sponsoring the show and getting involved with Project RAWcast. We really appreciate it. And I guess thank you to our other sponsors, Nissi Filters, offering our listeners 5% discount off any purchase from nissifilters.com.au. So whether you're wanting to just start out getting filters or you're wanting to increase your collection of Nissi filters, head over to nissifilters.com.au.
Yes, definitely. And again, thank you to fstoppers.com, an amazing website. Great source of all photography news and tips and information. But any of their Elia Liccardi tutorials, we're offering 10% off to our listeners by using the coupon code RAWcast at checkout. Again, as I say, these are phenomenal videos. You really have to check them out to kind of understand just the production quality and the information that is in there for photographers of all skill sets, so from the most basic through to the most advanced. And as I said earlier, mate, to capture my attention is pretty hard, but these things, like, I just don't want to take my eyes off them for the full 16 hours. They are incredible sets of content. So thank you to FStoppers for supporting us. Thank you to Nissi for supporting us, and a massive thank you to George's Cameras for supporting us. Now, I just over the weekend spent a few days in Freycinet National Park, which is a pretty cool little trip. What did you get up to yourself, other than sitting back waiting for your beautiful destinations phone call?
What did I do? I had some time to actually head out and take some photos. I went to Mornington Peninsula, went down to St. Paul's Beach and had some nice light to start with. But then when it came to the sunset crunch time, the clouds disappeared except for the ones on the horizon, killing everything. But it was good to get out and see the amazing coastline of Mornington Peninsula. What else? So when did I talk to you? I spoke to you last, and that was for a couple of hours.
That was yesterday. Today's Valentine's Day as well. Happy Valentine's Day, Kieran.
Thanks, Tassygrammer. Happy Valentine's Day.
I couldn't imagine a better way to spend my Valentine's Day. But yes, we just did speak for a couple of hours yesterday, planning our workshop. So yes, we did speak for quite a while.
Weekends kind of just disappear into the ether of the rest of the days at this point. The only reason I know it's a weekend is my wife's home and I get to see her a lot more, so that's a plus side. But otherwise, I probably don't know what day of the week it is most times.
No, I don't. I seriously don't know what day of the week it is half the time anymore. It doesn't really matter.
But the important day to remember is the 4th of March.
Yes, definitely. The 4th of March, 5 p.m. at South Bank in Melbourne for our Project RAWcast Insta Meet. We're really looking forward to this one. And as we said, registration form will be up at projectrawcast.com/InstaMeet. So just register your details and we will get in contact with you before the event, just to kind of confirm exactly where we are. Follow our social media channels as well. We'll be announcing, our meeting location and some more information around the prize and also the special offers that we'll have on the day for Nisi filters as well. So,
and if you want to spend a little more time with us, come along to Phillip Island, our Phillip Island workshop. Check out projectrawcast.com/workshops for all the details, and you can go there to book as well, either deposit or pay in full if you want.
Absolutely. And there's only a few spots left there, guys. So honestly, get in quickly. And we will be announcing some more throughout some other amazing locations around Australia very soon as well. So looking forward to really meeting some people and hopefully passing off some great knowledge around photography and social media and marketing as a whole. So
cool. Well, I should probably go buy some flowers for my wife. And sorry, Freudian slip there. And enjoy the rest of this Thursday, Friday. What is it? Monday?
Tuesday, mate.
Tuesday.
Yes, it is Tuesday. And look, every day is Valentine's Day for Susan and I, so I don't need to,
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same as well. So don't need to spend one day. Yeah.
Cool. Well, I'll let you go and buy some flowers, and I am going to go and do some more work. And I'll chat with you again soon, mate.
All right, cool. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we'll talk to you next time.
Sweet. All right. See you guys. Bye.